And today what we're going to cover is the worst cardios in the gym for fat burning. Main things we're going to address is when we say the worst cardio, it's more in relation to the time you're spending on the machine. When I'm in the gym doing cardio, I want to have it as optimal as possible so I can, honestly, leave quicker. Before we get into the specific machines, let's just talk about the good and bad habits of doing cardio when you're on a machine. Firstly, if you want to maximize the calorie being burnt in a short amount of time and make it more optimal, you need to try and take your hands off, because when you're doing the machine, you're holding on for dear life and you're just moving your legs, you're minimizing the amount of actual calories you're burning. So if you're moving more when you're walking naturally or you're moving up like that, you are burning more calories than someone that's on the machine next to you that's holding on. So say for example, if you take two people that are on the stepping machine, both on the machine, it says you burnt 200 calories. One of you did it while not holding the machine railings. One of you did it while holding them. The one that didn't hold it struggled more, just burnt more calories. So regardless of you both leaving the machine thinking you burnt 200 calories, one of you worked much harder than the other and definitely has a much higher heart rate. The first one I'm going to state is probably the absolute worst. It is called the recumbent bike, and you're just kind of like this. It is the worst machine for doing any sort of calorie burning because you're basically doing nothing. And usually when I see people on that machine in the gym, they're usually, not stereotyping, normally the laziest person looking in the gym. They're normally either on the phone talking to someone or they're on the phone fully texting the whole time. No cardio where you're burning the optimal amount of fat should you be able to hold a conversation on the phone. It's just a very, very, very poor exercise. So if you currently do that, I would recommend you stopping and at least switch to the regular exercise bike. If you want to go a step further, you can go for the ones that actually simulate a real bike where you can actually move. But yeah, the recumbent bike is absolutely wank, so I wouldn't recommend you doing that. Another machine, which to be honest is quite pitiful, especially in most commercial gyms, is the elliptical machine, also known as a cross trainer. It's the one where you basically just swinging your legs, but the problem is that a lot of these elliptical machines, they also build on momentum. Like after you get in like a certain rhythm of moving, once you actually stop engaging your legs and arms and stop moving them, the machine almost keeps on going for you. So yeah, you're waking up a sweat, but your muscles aren't actually moving the stuff for you. It's taking out so much of the actual exercise that you're just there as a passenger. You're not actually working and pushing yourself. There is certain gyms I've been to, like local weight gyms, where their elliptical machines are a little bit more strenuous. So for example, if I stop moving my legs, the machine literally stops in an instant. Whereas some bigger gyms, especially in the UK, the chains, when you're on the machine, you can do that. Once you stop, they'll keep going virtually for another 10-20 seconds because it's in that much of a groove. Those ones are pitiful. The only thing I can say about it is that if you actually use it and you're one of the people that hold on to the sides, at least you're moving more of your full body. But many people, when I've seen them go on a cross trainer, usually they hold the sides and they're just kind of swinging their legs casually. Yes, you're working up a sweat, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually burning calories. It's just you getting warm and your body's trying to cool yourself down. So yeah, I'd definitely reconsider using that where you can. But I'm going to say the treadmill, but I'm talking about flat incline, so when you don't raise it up. The flat incline is just one, bad for your joints. For example, if you're someone that jogs on a treadmill, the impact you're constantly doing when you run on the treadmill, it just impacts your knees so much. It'd be much better if you incline it, which I'll talk about in a minute. But just in general, I see many people on the treadmill just walking at a casual pace and they'll be on there for like an hour plus. You know what I mean? I don't think that was that worth it. The whole point is you want to make it a bit more challenging. Increase the pace of the actual treadmill. Increase your heart rate. If you're just casually walking, yeah, you run it for like an hour, 90 minutes, and it says you burn, what, 300, 400 calories. You could have burned much more calories, much quicker if you simply, one, increase the incline, which also takes impact off your knees, and two, increase the pace. The whole point is that you want to definitely push yourself. When you're in the gym, you should want to be optimal when it comes to calorie burning. You don't want to be in there forever. So when you get in there, try and increase the pace, definitely increase the incline to like simulate a hill. Make sure your body burns so much more calories. It brings in more of the hamstrings. It also works your lower back as well. And as I mentioned earlier, to get the most benefit, the most bang for your buck, I don't remember the phrase, get the most bang for your buck, what you need to do is take your hands off the sides. Trust me, I constantly try and remember to always take my hands off the sides. When it's on an incline, I will say it makes it a bit more difficult. I try and do as long as I can without my arms. I make sure that literally always on an incline, always at a pace that I find hard. I would not be able to hold a full-on conversation with someone for more than like 10 seconds because I'm going to run out of breath. That is the sort of pace you need if you want to optimally burn calories and actually see fat loss. A lot of you watching this that do cardio, I bet you hold on to the sides. Try and do the same pace and the same sort of stuff you do right now. but without holding the sides as much as you can, I guarantee it's a lot harder. So you can do one of two things. Try and go as long as you can without holding at the current pace you're doing, and see how long it takes you. Then every so often when you need a rest, hold on to it while you're walking and then take it back off. Or reduce the pace down and just try and do the whole time without holding on to the sides. You'll see a big difference in the way you're breathing, your heart rate and everything, and it will really help you kind of make more gains. So when it comes down to the actual calories being tracked on the machine, like, can you trust it? If the machine says you've burnt 300 calories, it's obviously not 100% accurate in the sense that you have definitely burnt 300 calories, because as I mentioned earlier, you could have two people, one's holding the railings, one's not. It's not factoring in who's working the hardest, because it's just doing it off a general kind of guide. However, if you always use that machine and use it the exact same way, you can use that at 300 calories or whatever number it says as a base, and always try and use that machine. For example, if you're switching to a different type of treadmills, but they're different brands, they may calculate slightly different. I always stick to the same stepper and the same treadmill or the same exercise bike and use those to reference when it comes to my calorie burning. So yes, it's not 100% accurate. You can't say for sure you burn the 300 calories, but if you always use that damn machine when you go to the gym, it's fine to kind of use it and say, yeah, I burned 300 calories today. Tomorrow I'm going to aim for the same 300 calories on that machine. In that scenario, it's perfectly fine to track the calories burned that way, so don't fret. Alright, and before we go, I might as well tell you what my all-time favorite cardio is. For those of you that don't know, the stepper machine is so strenuous, and the easiest way for me to kind of balance this out is that of all the stationary cardio machines, that one is the most challenging for me specifically. So for example, I could go on a treadmill and burn 300 calories and still work up a mad sweat, have a high heart rate, still be kind of panting. However, if I go on a stepper and try and burn 300 calories, I damn near feel like death. I can barely keep up. I'm sweating much more. My heart rate is way higher. So yes, both machines say 300 calories, but me burning 300 calories on a stepper machine is an absolute killer, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you will agree, which is why many people don't like using the stepper machine, because it's quite difficult. But yeah, it's definitely, in my opinion, hands down the greatest cardio inside a gym. If it's a really good stepper, there's some steppers that aren't that great. I'm a short guy, so there's a specific stepper that I use in my gym where the distance between the actual steps aren't too much. I was going to another gym once and it was so far, it felt like I was having to climb too much, and it literally got to the point where I felt like I was going to slip quite often when I picked up the pace. But anyways people, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the video with a thumbs up. And if you'd like any more guides or information on fitness, feel free to check out my website, fitnesswithtj.co.uk. The link's in the description box. I have plans, I have guides on fat loss and building muscle and all that sort of stuff.
Make $1 million cash for you flatline.